There we go, fellas. 1956. Benny, the umpires, the men in white, leading them out.
Umpire Rittman.
The boys having a few troubles getting through the run through there. There's the Mentone Football Club.
Familiar Tigers colours.
1956 Federal Football League. This game was played at Cheltenham.
Wearing the shorts up nice and high there, boys.
There come the Mordialloc boys. Their mascots have fallen over too. I don't mind those Bloods jumpers of 1956, fellas.
No, they were good, don't they? Oh,
Somebody got cleaned up as he came out.
A bit of a club photo getting taken there. There's Ian Metcalfe, one of the stars of this game, as we'll find out shortly. Reasonable conditions there, it looked like. That's the Cheltenham Football Ground 1956. They had some stars in their midst too. The Bloods. Harry Stanton was a champion for them. Here we see a kick towards goal.
It's a downfield.
Only one umpire in those days, Benny.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Complete control.
Mordialloc came into this game as favourites, actually, and really they led the game for 3 quarters. A lot of accurate passing.
Oh, a good drop kick there.
What's happened there? He's put the ball on the ground before he's kicked it.
Sean, you're in for an education here, son. This is when footy was footy. Big crowd there, as you can see. And I tell you what, a lot of these players had vast VFL or VFA experience. They were seasoned footballers. It was a very high standard of football.
Very physical game, isn't it, boys? Plenty of bodies being thrown around.
And good clear vision for that era.
Yeah, great vision for the era. Goal umpires with the long coat, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know about that fashion statement.
We spoke about Ian Metcalfe, fellas, the famous test bowler for Australia.
Man that was thrown out of Test cricket.
Thrown out of Test cricket very unfairly, but a fantastic competitor, great cricketer, great golfer, and obviously a great footballer because he turned this game around. He kicked 6 goals at 3/4 time. Mordialloc had this game in their keeping. They were leading 9-9 to 7-6. In the last quarter, Ian Metcalfe booted 4 goals and swung the game Mentone's way.
We're going to black and white, Dags.
A little bit of black and white footage there, as you can see.
Nice looking old scoreboard up there, boys.
Yeah, that's the old one down there at Cheltenham. They've upgraded to the digital in this new age.
You can see the crowd there, fellas.
Huge crowd.
A lot of people used to get along to the Federal League in those days, Daryl.
My word.
Back to colour.
And they loved the camera in those days, the fellas. They didn't worry about go away from there. Look at that. Yep. Is that a camera? Is that a Kodak? Great stuff. This is priceless footage.
Gee, it's pretty clear, this colour footage, Daryl.
Great stuff. And you can see the crowd in the background there, fellas.
Big crowd. That's looking over to the golf club side.
And some good clear shots too.
What a
Good
good
mark there. And lots of cars in the ground there too, behind the crowd, surrounding the fence. And we thank very much Professor Rob Hess, the Mentone Football Club historian, now of course in Beeds Mentone, for allowing us to show this footage on the local footy show. Rob, of course, loves his local footy and we really appreciate his permission to use it. And this, fellas, was just before Mordialloc went into the VFA. They went into the VFA in 1958. Of course, this is 1956, so just one season after this, they were into the VFA.
Daryl, back in those days, they used to put a couple of quid on the game. Do you reckon they would have done that back in this game?
Benny, funny you should mention that because though it wasn't reported in the papers, there was a significant wager between officials of the two clubs before the game. It has even been suggested that a sum of approximately £2,000, which is $4,000, was wagered on the match result.
Back in those times, that was a huge amount of money.
And it would go a long way to explaining why the long celebrations in the Mentone camp lasted for next to 2 days after their victory.
Yeah, Rover Elf Clark played a great game as well for the Tigers. Got plenty of kicks, Daryl.
He was everywhere apparently, Benny. Bill Gallagher, Don Metcalfe, Ian's brother, Mick Beckwith.
Peter Barber.
Lots of talent there, and Gatford was another major name for the Tigers. Gatford was very, very strong in defence and, well, they reckon that Mordialloc would have kicked enough goals to win if it wasn't for the efforts of Gatford. Hales and Lynch were the leading goal kickers for the Bloods. They booted 3 apiece.
What about that old post and rail type fence around the ground, Dags?
This would bring back a lot of memories to some of the people in our community who were there in 1956. You wouldn't have to be all that old anyway, really. We're only young at 50-odd, Benny.
Yeah,
Good mark there, good grab.
What sort of boots are they wearing in these days? The moulds?
No, the ones up to the ankles, Sean.
They would have had leather stops that you had to actually hit him with a hammer, Sean.
Gee, there's a bit of pace in it, isn't there?
Lots of pace, and I tell you what, they back themselves with their kicking and their marking.
There's no stopping and chipping it around the back line in these days, is it? They just go forward at all costs.
But we're talking about 55 years ago here, fellas. This is real football gold. The great Federal League in its prime, and two of the great sides, Mordialloc and Mentone.
They can't get cars around the ground down there at Cheltenham any longer.
There it is, a final siren, and Mentone victorious by just 9 points. And we see the Mordialloc side walking off very disappointed. The Mentone players, their heroes, they've just won the 1956 premiership.